This is the Burke and Banter podcast. I'm Ethan Burke, real estate agent with Irongate Realtors. Today I have
Zachary Westlund.
MMA fighter, house inspector, Marine, right?
Yep.
What else?
So my day job my full-time job, I guess, is in medical. So I work as for a tissue bank. So it's like organ donation, right? Someone passes away, they're an organ donor, but instead of major organs like liver, kidneys, lungs, stuff like that, I do bones, tendons, nerves, veins, hearts, skull flaps, all kinds of different things. And I'm the guy that goes in and like takes all that stuff out.
Nice.
So a lot under my plate that I've done, and it's a lot of different stuff, but I appreciate, being able to learn so many different things.
That's cool. And they just use that for like tissue donation.
Tissue donation. Anyone who needs either a heart valve replacement or vein replacements, tendon grafts, bone grafts, whatever it may be. That's what we do.
That's cool. I was a EMT for like 3 years.
Really?
I remember I took one person up to Cleveland Clinic for like a full intestinal transplant.
Yeah, so we don't do basically nothing from the abdomen. We'll go in and take the aortoiliac, which is like attaches to your veins or your FEMs and then your heart.
Yeah.
But nothing, major arteries, stuff like that, but no organs, because that has to be fresh.
Yeah.
Within, at least an hour or so after death. So ours is up to 24 hours if they're on cooling. But we could get someone straight from an accident, So I'm sure there have been times where, like, there's an accident you respond to, and then the carrier or whatever, funeral home, picks them up, brings them straight to us.
Interesting.
And we get it done soon, usually within 6 to 12 hours.
So I know there's a place in Dayton that does that. And I've known a bunch of people that have worked there, and I assume it's all the same place.
It is. Solvita, it used to be called something else. It's a blood center, too. So people are always over there donating blood and whatnot.
That's cool. But how did you get into that?
So the same guy that I will be doing home inspections with, I coached his son in wrestling at Greenon High School up in Enon. I was missing practices. I was a diesel mechanic before that, which
Nice.
Crazy transition.
Yeah.
But I was working all kinds of crazy schedules. I was missing practice and whatnot. And then he said, "Hey, how do you feel about blood?" And I, being a fighter, being a Marine, doing all that other kind of stuff, I don't care about that stuff. That's grossed me out. And he said, "Boy, do I have the job for you." I have it has a great schedule, and that's why I took that mostly was because of the schedule. It aligns very well with my training and whatnot. So
What's the schedule?
So we make our schedule a month in advance, and they said there's a minimum, but it's per diem, so it's all on call.
Gotcha.
But I put myself on 15 to 20 shifts a month, and then you might get called in. If I put myself on 15, might get called in 10 or 20. It kind of depends. It's all on call, so it's random. But
Makes sense if they don't have anybody for you to harvest from.
Exactly. So that's why I wanted to do house inspections to kind of supplement that. But then I work 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., so I can get called in. After a hard day of training, get called in at midnight, and be up for all night, and then have to get up and do it again. And, so it gets a little rough, but the schedule's really nice. For the pay, it's pretty decent.
That's pretty cool.
So
I've known, I think, don't they give raises pretty regularly there, don't they? Because a lot of people quit.
So not for us, which that's a whole nother subject that, we're kind of trying to figure out within management and whatnot. But we're all per diem, so it's not salary, it's not hourly. So it goes on what we recover that night. So like if I take bones and tendons, that's a certain amount. If I take bones, tendons, nerves, that's another amount. So it could take 20 different things. I could take one thing. And it all depends on how much I take that night.
Yeah.
So there are some companies, like one in Cincinnati, that's salary. There's another one that's hourly, but, you're at a fixed rate. Me, I can get paid a lot of money in one night compared to, like, the hourly rate. I could end up making more potential to make more money. But, like I said, I could go 2 weeks without work. I could go a month without work. So you have to be pretty smart with your money.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to navigate, especially now. Like, there's new regulations and whatnot coming with the FDA, and it's put a wrench in some things. But, it's still working out well. I still like it, and I plan on doing that for a while.
Nice.
So,
But is the goal eventually to become a full-time home inspector?
I think so, because that has a very good schedule, too. Like I said, I'm not a licensed home inspector yet. I went through my school, and then in-person school, and then online school. And then I think you have to do up to 40 concurrent inspections. The guy I'm working with does a lot of extra stuff. So I'm trying to learn everything to promote his business well. But I think that's the goal. The potential to make money is about the same, and then I can work whatever schedule I want. It works well with what I do. training and whatnot.
Was that to Internachi, or did you go to a different one?
Internachi, yep. That's and then inspector certification associates was the school I went through, but then Internachi has all other kinds of classes and whatnot that I've taken. And yeah,
I was looking at Internachi because I thought that would be kind of a fun side hustle with real estate. And then
absolutely.
I went through probably about half the classes, and then I kind of like realized, like I knew going into it that I couldn't inspect the houses for the people that I'm helping buy a house.
Right.
And then it just kind of clicked that it was like one of the main reasons people go to a specific home inspector and they have a relationship with them is because that person might share referrals back and forth with them. Mm-hmm. And if I'm a real estate agent, they're definitely not going to do that. So it just kind of cuts off an extra stream of income. So I was like, it just doesn't make sense for me to keep doing it.
That makes sense.
It was cool.
Yeah, you had to learn a lot. I think, I think with I've had experience in construction and other general contractor stuff. And I think that helps going into it, having some kind of knowledge of what you're talking about.
How'd you get that?
Just growing up, working on farms and stuff like that. My uncle owned a farm, and I worked on that. My best friend and I basically built a house that's like on the property right now with my uncle. So it was us three, like building it up from walls, drywall, insulation, like everything. So
that's cool.
My uncle pretty much taught me everything I know about houses and whatnot.
Nice.
Now I've lost some skills along the way, but I'm trying to gain them back.
So you've been hands-on any inspections so far?
Yes, I'm a few. I don't think I'm through my 40 concurrent inspections. I have to look at my sheet. I was telling you, I've been a little lazy. Well, because I went through the school like a little over a year ago, and then life kind of got in the way, and then I was like, okay, maybe I want to transition to something else medical. I was looking into surgical technology, and I was going to re-enlist into the Air Force, go through their school, and that kind of didn't pan out, so now I'm kind of getting back into it, going to do my inspections, and then hopefully by the end of this month, I'll have my test done and be certified, be on my own, and kick me out of the nest.
Nice. Yeah. What was the name of his business that you're working for?
House Doctors Home Inspection Services.
Do they do any of the fancy stuff? They get like the thermal cameras and drones and stuff?
Thermal cameras, drones, sewer scopes, mold, radon, like the works.
Oh, nice.
Well and septic flow and function tests, anything you could ask for, yeah.
That's cool.
We try to do everything.
Let's see here. Do you do new construction?
New constructions, slabs, 100-year-old houses, whatever you want. Yep. Cool. Apartment complexes we've done, so.
That's awesome. Seen anything wild yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A couple of apartment complexes, like, anything from bugs to, like, drugs laying around and, like.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Old houses where the walls are caving in or floorboards they have to be careful on stepping on. Animal critters. I had a bat one time. I was up in an attic with the guy, and he was showing me stuff, and I pulled back some insulation, and a bat started crawling out of it at me. So I had to push the insulation back over it, and it was, I don't know what sound a bat makes, but it's like a squeal, I guess, and it was, saw its teeth, and I just kind of covered it back with insulation, and it stopped. So, wild stuff.
Nice. I was showing Q a house out in the country, and it was a duplex. We go to the back of the duplex, and this place was really like just dilapidated. And we go upstairs, and there's these brand new, probably like 8 or so, looks like these, look almost like kind of like a clothing rack. If you put like plastic over it, something you probably want to put a plant and then a UV light in.
Yeah. Oh,
it's fill the entire back of the duplex.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've definitely seen some tents or something. Yeah. That's wild. Well, and like getting in crawl spaces and stuff like that. I try to like just keep my head down and look at the walls or whatever I'm looking at. Because if I look down, there's going to be a spider the size of my hand that's like below my face. And 100%. I don't mind spiders, but I'd rather not be that close to me.
Yeah. But, are you planning on working for him and just joining the company, or are you going to start your own?
I'll work for him. Yeah, he's a great guy. It's just him right now. I know he doesn't want to work that much, so I think we're going to have a good thing going. He's one of my really good buddies. I've known him for a long time. He's got me the job I had before. So, super trustworthy guy, and I wouldn't want to work for anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
And he really knows what he's talking about. And, we don't even do any he didn't even have business cards. It's all word of mouth, and he stays busy. He stays super busy. So I know he wants to shed some of that weight onto me.
Yeah, if you got quality in what you're doing, it spreads pretty quick.
Yeah.
How much does he charge?
I believe it depends on square footage and whatnot, but I think base rate's $495. It could be a little bit more depending on what's going on. But then you add the well and septic flow and function tests and all that kind of stuff, so it can add up. But I think base rate's $495.
How do you test a well?
So starting depth, you measure starting depth, run all the water for an hour. Like I said, I'm still trying to learn all this stuff. and then come back later with all the water off and see the refill rate, and then you'll measure it after a certain time.
Gotcha.
So same thing with the septic system. Measure starting depth, let it flow and whatnot. Measure a certain time after, and then if anything backs up, if it doesn't flow out at all, your leach fields are kind of busted.
Yeah.
So.
I remember there was showing, well, this one guy, him and his wife, he bought a house, and they said it was on city sewer, city water, and we get the pipe scoped, and it runs directly into a septic tank. Like, that's not good.
Yeah.
So we had to figure out where the septic tank was. We get somebody out there to pull it up. The thing is completely full to the brim because nobody knew it was there. Because this guy bought it as a flip, so he had no idea it was there. They told him it was city, and he didn't look.
Yeah. There's been a couple times where my guys told me about it just being buried, and we try to do our due diligence, and if they know roughly where it is, we'll take a probe or something to it, and then maybe dig it up. But some of them are buried a couple feet, and they haven't been touched in who knows how long.
Yeah.
So, and then that kind of falls into what isn't outside of a home inspector scope.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to dig 3 feet down? I think that's unreasonable, but.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you got people mad that you just dug a hole in the yard.
Exactly.
How else are you going to check it?
Yeah. So
and you probably saved them a ton of money by finding out where it was and doing
Absolutely.
that. Because if it overflows and breaks or something.
Absolutely.
Because those are expensive to fix.
They are expensive. I know new systems, at least for wells, because I think you can get, now I'm blanking on the word, the tank. Not a well, but a tank that holds water. I can't remember what that's called. But they put the UV lights in it now, and it kills everything. Nice. Apparently, that's one of the best ways to do it now.
That's a good idea. Because I know I was helping somebody, and they had some kind of, it was one of the more common, bacteria or something in the well. They just had to put, some kind of chemical in it to kill it.
Yeah.
But if they could just shine lights on it seems like a much better way to do it.
Allegedly, don't take my word for it, but allegedly, it'll kill, if there's, rodents dead in there and stuff like that, it'll still kill whatever's in it without treating it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would probably still treat it. But.
Yeah. I imagine, you might kill it, and then more bacteria would come out of the rodent.
Yeah, it would probably be a cycle, for sure.
But still, that's pretty neat. So if you're not inspecting houses, you're punching people.
Yes, hence the shiner. I got a black eye. Got that from, I think, Colby on Sunday, because Colby doesn't spar light. That's fine. Love it. That's why I go with him. But, yes, I train quite a bit at the same gym. You train at Queen City Grappling Club in Franklin.
Yeah, shout out to Queen City.
Shout out to Queen City. I always wear the merch. But, yeah, I've been fighting through them since 2020. That's when I first started going there. I had my first MMA fight in 2019, and I shouldn't have taken it. Right? I didn't know much about fighting, just knew how to wrestle, pin him up against the cage, and that was it. And then I got choked. I said I should probably learn how to not get choked. So I went to Queen City in 2020. I got my purple belt, or my blue belt within 6 or 7 months. Wrestling is a huge part of my life, and that kind of helped. Then I got my purple belt this past December. I've had 5 fights through Queen City.
Nice.
In the past 5 fights, I've been undefeated. So
hell yeah.
Ruben's doing something well, and so is Jared. They know their stuff.
You been doing knockouts or chokes?
My last 3 fights have been unanimous.
Nice.
At first, I had a TKO, a 10-second knockout, and then 3 in a row that were unanimous. Because after the knockout, because at first you want to go and you want to strike. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of wrestlers are like, oh, I know how to wrestle. I want to prove myself that I can strike. Did that, and I got the bruises from it too. Yeah. There's a picture. My face is black and blue. But now, I'm going back to my roots. I know how to wrestle. I might as well use it. And I know how to take people down, control them, and, so pull them a rob and just hold them, control them, take them into deep water. If my gas tank can be better than theirs, if I can push it 100% and keep controlling him. My last 2 dudes, I feel like broke by the end. They couldn't get up. They just got tired. And one of them was laying on the ground, on the mat in between rounds. His coach was screaming at him to get up. And that was for my title fight, my amateur title fight. Nice. So in between rounds, he was done. And at that moment, okay, I've got this. Yeah. But yeah, so I think now it's probably going to be more going towards subs, unanimous decisions. I don't care how I win. Yeah. It's not flashy. It's not a knockout. It's not a sub, but a win's a win, and that's what I'm going for. Yeah. I don't care about anything fancy.
Nice. I was going to ask, the wrestlers seem to have just an infinite gas tank. What is the conditioning look like? Because I'm jealous as hell.
I'll be honest, I don't run. I don't run at all, but you've seen us like in the Queen City room. Ruben will put us on a 6 minute go back to back to back. You know,
Yeah.
I think the other day we had basically a 12 minute go, and it's just a lot of that, a lot of wrestling, and a lot of sparring and riding the Aerodyne bike, even though those suck. But I haven't ran in forever.
Nice.
You know, I think because it's different. It's different with muscle fatigue and whatnot, even in lung capacity too. But if you can put yourself in a realistic situation to do it like a 15-minute fight, which
Yeah.
that'd be like a title fight. If you can do that in the training room and you can do that every day and be okay every day, then you know you're in a pretty good spot.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So other than just like the Aerodyne bike, sometimes the only cardio you do is just in the gym, sparring or rolling.
Yep. Yep. And you know, and that's on me to make sure I'm picking the opponent or my practice partners that will go hard, and me to push myself as much as I can every day. You know,
Yeah.
it's if I want to be lazy one day, okay, then that's gonna cost me. So I have to go 100%.
Makes sense.
If my lungs are dying, then they're dying. I now coach wrestling at St. Xavier down in Cincinnati, and I've been doing their whole wrestling practices. So from warm ups to sprints to whatever's, and that's different than a jiu-jitsu practice a little bit. And you know, I'm getting more and more gassed, but that's what I need to do. You know, I need to go through a whole practice and kill myself in the practice so it doesn't affect the fight.
Yeah. So Queen City, they do the MMA stuff on Sunday.
So we do open rounds on Sunday. There's a bunch of guys that come in from other gyms. We'll do MMA sparring, boxing, just like, and then jiu-jitsu and whatnot. But then there's striking on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Wednesdays is Muay Thai. Fridays and Mondays are more MMA based. So Jared, awesome kickboxer, but he's good at combining, you know, the MMA with the boxing or the wrestling with the boxing and making our transitions pretty smooth. Other than that, it's, you know, Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll throw on the gloves. Ruben was an MMA fighter. He knows, he's been around the sport forever, so he puts us through our own little thing in the corner for MMA training. Then we travel. We go up to Immortal, shout out Immortal. We go up there and train with some of their pro fighters and whatnot.
I think Columbus.
Columbus, yep. I'll go down to, during the summers, like for the freestyle and Greco season, Mount St. Joseph, my brother coaches there, and Charles Mason coaches there, but then they hold a Cincinnati regional training centers for freestyle and Greco. So like a lot of the Olympic aspiring guys or like the world team trial aspiring team will go down there and train. And so I'll get my wrestling down there from like some pretty legit guys, you know, and then they have fighters that train with them as well. So we get rounds everywhere. I think getting different looks is great from whoever you can.
Nice. Have you gone up against any judo guys?
Yes, there
does
was
that go? Who wins, wrestling or judo?
wrestling. You know, Jarrell.
Yep.
Jarrell's a judo guy. And the first time I ever met Jarrell was in a competition. He was my first jiu-jitsu match ever.
Nice.
And
He's wired.
Yes, he is. And I wanted to play the judo game or the upper body game, and he foot swept me to my back. And I was like, okay, I'm going to double leg you. So I got to double legged him, and that was it. But I try to play with that because they have a different style.
Yeah.
Just like Sambo, Gian tossed me to my back the other day. Big leg sweep and then straight to my back. It's a different style. But I feel like I can try to play their game a little bit. I say wrestling wins, especially with my upper body and my Greco background. I think usually I'll get the better of a judo guy my size, unless those foot sweeps come in. Those are dangerous.
Have you mixed in any moves from any other styles?
Oh yeah. I've been trying to do a lot more. I just saw someone the other day. They had a Russian, and he just stepped behind and like did a foot sweep. And I was like, okay, I like the Russian Thai a lot. Maybe I'll start adding in more foot sweeps. And I think just like MMA, you know, I'm pretty stubborn in my wrestling, and I think wrestling works. But just like MMA, you have to combine everything. And you know, there are other things from other arts that they can transfer over. So
You try to develop any of your own special moves? Hit a highlight reel?
yes, I have. There's a highlight reel. I think it's on my brother's page. We took a team down to the World Team Trials a couple years ago, and it's got me throwing some guys.
Nice.
And I always teach this one specific single leg, and I'm like, I swear I've never seen anyone do it before. So someone better name it after me when they go on and show other people.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I need to work on my takedowns. My takedowns are terrible.
everyone needs to work on their takedowns. I feel like if you don't drill it a million times, you know, it's literally that. I started wrestling as a freshman in high school, so I mean, realistically, not that long ago, like 8 years ago, right? I started as a freshman, and I from then on, every day after practice, I would go to another practice, or at least twice a week, you know.
Yeah.
I lived in a small rural community, so I drive 45 minutes to another practice where, like, there's really legit guys. So I'd double up, and, you know, I've been drilling takedowns for many years, year round. And I think it's just that developing that skill over and over and over again. Even though it gets boring, you know, you have to do it.
Yeah. I remember at Queen City's old spot, we had a wrestling teacher that did that. So I was trying to do wrestling and work on it for a little bit. Showed up to one of his classes, and we just drilled the whole, like, one thing for, like, the full hour. And I'm like, this is exactly what I need. And then, like, he left and we got somebody else, and he did just a different kind of practice that I didn't like as much. And there wasn't, like, just pure repetition. It was a lot of just, like, go.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I can't just go.
Yeah, I think as a coach, you have to realize that. You know, we had a talk a few weeks ago, a very candid conversation between the St. X coaches. Aaron Cashman, who coaches head coach at St. Xavier in Cincinnati, he wrestled for Iowa. So he's bringing in his Iowa Hawkeye mentality to high school kids. And, like, some of them get it. We have a state champ. We have a lot of seniors. We have some experienced guys, and they get it, and they can kind of go through that kind of practice. But there's a lot of fresh guys. And I don't know if you can just grind kids in the ground that don't know what they're doing. You know, hey, live goes, or hey, start in this position when they haven't perfected it. So, you know, I was teaching last night with Bagel, and at Queen City Tuesdays and Thursdays we do wrestling. Usually Jermaine Lindsay is there on Tuesdays, but he broke his leg. So I've kind of stepped in and, started doing that.
What happened to his leg?
I think he was at a tournament warming up with a wrestler.
It's warming
and
up?
It just broke, and now he's in a cast in a wheelchair. So.
Damn. It's always the freak accidents.
Seriously.
Like, you see the giant throws where people are going, like, especially when they go over top and then, like, their head misses the ground by, like, an inch. They never seem to get hurt from that. It's always just, like, warming up, practice, doing silly stuff.
I have a video. I might have taken it down. It was on my Instagram. But I did a freestyle tournament my senior year of high school. And I got picked up, and it looks like it was slow motion. I got picked up, tossed on my shoulder. Well, I snapped my shoulder blade in half.
Ow.
Yeah, completely in half. And I just kind of laid there, and the ref stopped the match, and I was like, I don't know, I think I hurt my shoulder, but I can still move it, so I guess we're good. Finished the match, and then me being stubborn and, like, I'm like, oh, it's just muscle pain, right? So then, like, literally a month later, I'm like, Mom, something's messed up. So I went in, and they got x-rays, and he's like, well, it's calcified now. You know, it's been 4 or 5 weeks. He's like, we can't do anything about it now. It's healed, or, like, it's healing. So, it sucked. That sucked a lot.
So is it in, like, a weird position now, or is, like, certain movements hurt?
Everything's fine. You know, it healed. I don't know how, but it snapped completely in half.
Lucky.
Yeah, exactly. I could have been pretty jacked up.
Yeah, because it could have messed with nerves and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. Which is kind of what I'm dealing with right now, a little bit. I was going with Wes, and this is the second kind of like neck injury I've had. I shot a double on him, and he like kind of checked it, but I hit the top of my head, so it compressed my neck. And I remember falling, and like this whole side went limp. So for like 10 seconds, I was just kind of laying there. I went and saw a physical therapist like 6 months later because it was still bothering me.
Yeah.
And he said he thinks there's like an impingement or something, and taught me some things to kind of work on it. But every now and then, like, it backs up, you know, and nerves and necks are not something I want to mess with. So every day I'm stretching. I make sure I get a really good warm up in, and I stretch. That's why I'm always running in the corner and stretching my neck, and because I can't just jump in anymore, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm to the point now where if I sleep wrong, my neck hurts for the next like 3 days.
Seriously.
It's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thankful. This is the only thing I have after years of wrestling and the sport that I do that I'm not more jacked up than I am, which I'm super grateful. You know, knock on wood, nothing happens, but you know, this is it, and I can deal with that. I can still fight, still throw a punch. So
over the years, things just start to break down. You see all those old jiu-jitsu guys who just can't move their neck anymore.
Ruben, until he kind of worked out. He didn't go live for like a year because he had to work on his neck.
Oh, I remember that. He had some kind of like bone spur or something.
Yeah. I think it's just years of getting his neck cranked.
Yeah.
You know, something either rubbing and then growing or something. I don't know. But
the worst things I've ever had is I was training with Mark when we were still doing gi stuff at the old place, and we were just practicing sweeps. And I just put my hand out, dislocated my finger completely. I was like, fuck. Yeah. Popped it back. It swelled up. It was like stuck for months. Really? Had to go to physical therapy to figure out how to straighten it out again. Just practicing sweeps. Well, luckily, that was it.
You remember Dan did something like that? No. Before Worlds a couple of years ago, it was at the last gym. He landed on his finger wrong, and he ended up like having to have finger surgery.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Something random like that.
Dude, finger joints suck. Like they take forever to heal.
Yeah.
They swell up. Sometimes like it's still not 100%. It's still a little bit jacked. But like the tiny joints.
Tiny joints.
They get you.
That's why you can't do small joint manipulations, you know?
Yeah. How many fights have you had so far?
6. So 5-fight win streak with Queen City, and then my first fight that I lost back in 2019.
I feel it. I had one MMA fight too. I had a.
I didn't know that. I know we've talked about it, that you did Muay Thai and stuff like that too, right?
Yep. This was before Muay Thai. This was when I
Okay.
just had a Taekwondo black belt, and I was like, I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Fair enough.
I just got the hell beat out of me for 3 minutes, and they were like, "Do you want to keep going?" I was like, "No, it's not going to get
Really?
better."
Yeah. That's kind of what I thought. I was like, oh, I can just wrestle this dude. I know how to throw a punch. And like I was training at a place, but it wasn't seriously training. Not enough to take a fight. Like
Yeah.
nowhere near my blue belt at that point. I took a fight in 2019. I didn't take my next fight until 2021. So like took 2 years to actually like learn how to fight and like do jiu-jitsu and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. That first fight's a big eye opener.
Big eye
You
opener.
realize how much you don't know, and you're like, okay,
Yep.
time to step up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got rear naked choke standing. So
Oh,
yeah, super embarrassing.
You didn't like try to jump and flip or
I
anything?
didn't
land
know.
on
I
that?
just started fighting, and he jumped up and wrapped his legs around me, and choked me.
Ah,
I was
damn.
like, I stood there and I was looking at my coach. And I was like, tap, like I can't do anything here.
Nowadays, what would you have done?
Probably not let him get there. I mean, that I would have scrambled a little bit more, and then, I mean, probably just go to my back, you know, or put him up against the cage. At least use the cage to push him off. Not get in that position, because there was things leading up to that, like let him into that position. Now
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't do that, you know.
Keep an eye on him, see if he's still fighting, so you can come back and get some revenge.
I wish. I think he's had like 2 fights since then, but not in a couple years. So
That'd be cool. Redemption.
I know. I think actually it turns out I think Ruben knows him and used to coach him, but
Okay.
I don't want to give out names. But
Yeah.
you can find it.
Man, I was watching one of the B2 fights. I think when Jimmy was fighting, it was one of the like preliminary fights. It's always like hard when you do know a little bit and you see them make a mistake and you're like, shit, you could do that thing.
Yeah.
Like this guy, he was on his back on the ground and he crossed his feet. I was like, oh my God, you could just tap him right then and there. And he was just staying on his back for like a minute or two trying to fight him off. I was like, God.
I think it's helped me a lot. My coaching, like me becoming a coach, has helped my wrestling so much because I
believe
get
that.
to see things like that and kind of break it down. And I get to yell stuff. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should start implementing that, you know. And you get to see things from a different perspective. I think it made my wrestling and now my MMA. Now that I'm kind of helping out with the new up and comers like Danny and Colby and stuff like that, and some other guys, I can kind of help critique stuff and teach stuff, and it's helping me a lot more.
Yeah, you get to see the tiny little mistakes that you didn't realize that you had either already corrected or didn't realize that you were making.
Right.
It is interesting when you're like looking at somebody doing the move and you're trying to explain how to do it correctly because a lot of it is just like body mechanics.
100%. Anytime any of my wrestlers or anyone says like, "Oh, how do you do this?" I'm like, "I have to do it on you first.
Yeah.
I have to do it on you to like realize what I'm doing, and then I can talk it out. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's just natural, you know. You know, if we're going for a Kimura, it's just there. You know, I just grab it. I'm not thinking about like where I'm putting my leg or like how
Yeah.
I'm pivoting too much. And I
Exactly.
think that'll come with time. With you know, the more I learn jiu-jitsu and get into more coaching of jiu-jitsu, but at least for wrestling, that's how it was for a little bit. I got to do the move on you to like I be able to explain it. You know.
Same. Like I haven't coached any classes yet, but every once in a while, one of the brand new people asks me how to do something, and even if it's like a simple move, like you said, the Kimura, I'd be like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
You grab them like I've been doing it for years. But
Well, I
it
think
is-
there's little details that you miss when you trying to explain it.
Yeah.
You know, Ruben is really good on like the small things,
100%.
small details. But there'll be some times where I'll show a move during wrestling class and then they go and break and then I watch someone do it. I'm like, oh, I didn't explain it like that. You know, I didn't verbalize. That's what you needed to do with this, certain
Yeah.
detail.
a ton of those moves, like those tiny details,
difference.
make the whole thing either work or not work at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've run into that so many times. And it, like you said, Ruben's really, really good at those tiny details. I love that.
Very good at explaining.
So many other jiu-jitsu places I've been to, they kind of like vaguely go over something, and then they just have you go live, and then like they're doing a whole bunch of moves that they've never shown, and of course you're getting caught with everything. You're just like, you've never taught me this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ruben comes up with those micro details that just make everything stick.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, it was night and day when I went there. Have you done jiu-jitsu anywhere else?
I hopped around. I was at Dayton MMA for a little bit. I didn't actually go there. I think I went there for open mats and stuff like that. So I met a lot of their guys that are now in Queen City.
Yeah.
They're
cool. I like
they're
them.
very cool. I met Q at his old gym, Ghost Team.
Yeah.
Met him and a few other guys that are now at Queen City as well. But I never really signed up for a place. I remember Jimmy is actually the reason I started coming to Queen City because him and I trained at Vision together.
Oh, nice.
And then Jimmy ended up going to Queen City and he started having success. And I was like, man, I want success. Like, I want to go to a place that I know has good jiu-jitsu, and Jimmy raved about him. And then I think it took me like making the commitment and be like, okay, I'm paying for a place. I have to pay for this place. So I go every single day. And it forces me to. If I'm spending that much money on something, I'm going to go to it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did that.
Same. I was doing that for a minute. I went to Browns. I went to, I don't even remember the other places. I went to a bunch of different places, but I would just like hop in for a class every once in a while, pay like the drop-in fee. And I was only probably going like 2-3 times a month just because I wasn't committed to anywhere. And stuff always comes up. And then finally I find Ruben in Queen City, and I was doing that there for a minute. And he was like, you just need to sign up. He talked me into it. I signed up, started going like a couple times a week. And
Exactly.
the skill level just goes way up when you're training that much.
Absolutely.
You just got to get in there and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, for me, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I've been at Queen City for a while, but like, shoot, I just got like my purple belt. You just got your purple belt, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and like, I don't know. I never thought that. I was like, oh, I'll get my blue belt eventually. And then I got my blue belt. I'm like, okay. But then, your progress seems so far away.
Yeah.
Until someone's like, oh, you're succeeding. You're doing really well. Here's this.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, like I didn't think I was doing that well, which I don't think I've earned my purple belt. That's a whole nother thing. And I had to have a pretty serious talk with like Ruben and Dan and like some of the other guys. And they're like, nah, man, like you're good, which my leg lock game still sucks. But I'm trying so hard. I'm working on it.
Leg locks are tricky. I know a little bit. Like situationally, I know some stuff, but then I go up against someone like Wes, and it's like I don't know shit.
Yeah, yeah. Wes is a madman. I mean, he's such a great teacher.
I love
too.
Wes.
Yeah. Hopefully, I can't wait to have him back.
Yeah, I think he's getting pretty close. Like he was talking about that he went out and did some rolling somewhere, so he should be pretty close to being back on the mats.
That's awesome.
Hell
That's awesome. What a great guy to have.
Yeah, yeah. His skill level, his detail, his knowledge of what he's doing is just crazy.
Yeah, he's helped me out a lot. I think Dan too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy Dan's opening the gym. I mean, opened a gym. Like that's amazing. I think his level of details and commitment to teaching and whatnot, and I feel like his progress has skyrocketed too. I remember when he was like a purple belt, I somewhat keep up with him just because of the wrestling and stuff, and then out of nowhere, skyrocketed above me, and now I can't touch him. Yeah. And that's annoying.
I remember. I met him, I think, for the first time over at Browns. He was a blue belt, and I was still a white belt. And like he would obviously still kick my ass, but I would catch him with like weird, crazy shit that I do every once in a while. And then, like, I see him a couple years later at Queen City, and he's like, I can't catch him with anything. Not even close.
Yep. Which is awesome, and I'm so
Hell
grateful that he's opened a gym. It's so close to my house too. Nice. It's nice. I like hopping over there. Very close. Because I live up in Dayton, so I drive down to Queen City, and then I drive down to St. X to coach, which that just kind of worked out because Aaron's one of my best friends, and I kind of want to get back into coaching. So I was like, all right, this is a pretty good opportunity. But yeah, hopefully I can move down to like the Springboro, Franklin, somewhere around there, be closer to the gym, and then closer to like St. X and Cincinnati. Because my brother lives down in Cincinnati too, so.
That'd be cool. Yeah. You plan on, does he own his gym or does he coach?
Co-owns Cincinnati RTC, their regional training center. So that's like the freestyle Greco, like Olympic type wrestling aspirations and stuff like that. And then he coaches at Mount St. Joseph. He's the head assistant.
Nice.
So, but he trains down at Club MMA down there. It's like 5 minutes from his house. So he's like, I have to keep training. Because he moved and then didn't train at all. Didn't want to drive to Queen City because that's like 45 minutes from his house.
Yeah.
And he finally found a place down there, which is awesome. Those guys are great. Club MMA guys, they're awesome. So it's just me and my brother in Ohio. So I want to be closer to him. Yeah. That's the goal.
Makes sense.
And my nephew and my sister-in-law. So
you looking to open your own gym at some point?
I don't know. I don't really have like a itch to do that. I like coaching. I like coaching wrestling, I think, more. Eventually, I think I would like to get into more MMA and stuff like that. And I don't mind helping out with jiu-jitsu or doing like a fundies class or something. But right now, I'm all focused on competition for the most part. Compete.
Yeah. Are you focused completely on just MMA competitions right now?
Yeah. I'll do jiu-jitsu competitions. I've only done like 5 or 6 in my life. 2 of them being worlds, which was kind of silly, but whatever. I did 2 of the jiu-jitsus, which I really like those formats because it's sub only and you get 4 or 5 matches.
Nice.
The last one I did in Chicago, they didn't have anyone at my weight at purple belt, so I went up to the 170 class, and then I convinced them to let me do the expert at my weight. So I did both, and that's horrible because jiu-jitsu is different. Like, when you're up, you're up.
Yeah.
It's like I'm wrestling and they're calling my name. So I finish that and I hop on the next mat.
Oh, damn.
And then, maybe a couple minutes in between and I'm back up.
And luckily, you got that wrestling gas tank.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that was awful. I don't know if I want to double up like that again. 170s and then black belts, that was rough.
How'd you do?
Lost against 170s, I took third. There was only 2 other guys, so I took third, and I took second in the black belt. Well, expert. I don't know what belts they were, but
Nice.
yeah. I heel hooked someone. We're in the competition.
Nice.
Loved it. It's a good feeling when you finally get that, because I never do. So
Nice.
my training is working, or my constantly doing leg locks is working.
Yeah. I'm always hesitant about doing like jiu-jitsu tournaments because the risk to reward is just non-existent.
Yeah.
Like there's no prize money.
Yeah.
So it's like if I go in and dislocate a finger, it could be like $1,000 to get it fixed. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, very
Meanwhile,
true.
with like MMA, you're building something. Eventually, you can get to those like serious paychecks or serious events.
Yeah. Well, even with, jiu-jitsu on top of that, like if I get hurt, then I can't fight.
Yeah.
And then I'm out another, or like my work, I work a lot with my hands and I deal with scalpels. And like if I break a hand,
Yeah.
I'm kind of out of
screwed.
work for a little bit, Can't be using a scalpel all rickety.
Yeah.
But, and I think with me though, like I've had 1 fight in 2025. I think 1 or 2 fights in 2024, 1 fight in 2023. So it's like I would like 2 or 3 fights a year. I've had like 7 people back out this year though, this past year.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Jimmy was talking about that. Just like, why do they back out so much?
One guy couldn't make the weight 3 weeks before the fight. He said, I can't make the weight. So, which was kind of annoying. Yeah. And then one guy like broke his ankle. One guy, I've had like 3 contracts signed and then a bunch of verbals. And then like going into it where I'm like, okay, we're like 2 weeks out. Where's my contract? They're like, no, they bailed. So I don't know. I can't get a fight. So I want to supplement that with jiu-jitsu or something, wrestling or I don't know, whatever.
So are you still in the amateur or are you pro?
Pro. I had my pro debut in June of 2025. I have another fight booked for February 21st in Newark, Ohio. So that's coming up pretty quick.
That's right. I was going to ask about that. That's real soon.
Real soon. I found out about it last week. Thursday morning, I think Ruben said, hey, do you want to fight this guy? I said, sure.
Nice.
And then that night, I had a contract.
Hell yeah.
So, which, love that. Like, I'd rather things go that fast than have to wait,
Yeah.
I want some guy that wants to fight, and let's do it. I'm in shape. I'll fight him.
Have you like looked up his style or his moves or anything?
Yeah, I think he's a pretty well-rounded guy. A lot of his fights, I think he's gone for takedowns and stuff like that, which, by all means, bring him to the ground. That's awesome, Or want to go to the ground. That's my style. So
Yeah. Has he got any weaknesses you think you can exploit, other than just wanting to go to the ground?
yeah, I don't think his striking is all there, and I think there's advantages I can take from there. Like I said, he tries to take people to the ground. I'm pretty confident I cannot be taken to the ground. So I think that's a weakness on his part. The last couple of these I fought were really tough from some pretty decent jiu-jitsu gyms that focus a lot on wrestling. And I know the last guy I fought was a wrestling coach too. So I'm like, okay, this might, be a good battle. And it was for the most part. My pro debut, this was, and it was, but I think I got the better of him, takedowns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He kneed me really hard and like knocked the wind out of me, and they got like 4 more clean shots. So there's a moment where like I was shooting it, or I got hit, and then I just dropped and shot in for a double, and it took like 110%. I think that was the fight that's a huge eye opener for me of like what I'm capable of. Everyone always says like, oh, you can push past your limits, and like if you're in a fight or flight response, like you can push past it. That was me. I was like almost about to give up. I was done, and then I'm like, basically F this. I got more to fight for, and I kept driving, double-legged him, put him to his back, and I was able to control him for the rest of the fight. And
Nice.
I think it was a big eye-opener that, if you do keep pushing, I can capitalize on that. My wrestling was better, I would say. My gas tank helped a lot.
Yeah.
And just ability to be like, okay, I got the wind knocked out of me, but I'm not dying. I'm fine, when I walked out of the cage, the first thing Jared said to me was, "Are your ribs broken?" Because he could hear it. He thought he heard like ribs breaking because it was the skin on skin like smack. He thought my ribs broke, and he's like, "Are your ribs okay? Your ribs okay?" And like they're fine. It was a little sore, but
Nice.
it was fine.
It's got to be weird to train with knees because, like, if you're sparring, you can't really like go hard as possible.
Yeah.
And then, like, how do you prevent them?
Yeah, we wear knee pads and stuff like that. Some of us sometimes we just eat knees, on accident. And that sucks. But I don't know. It start off slow, obviously, like fake knees and stuff like that. But now, like Bagel and I, we can go pretty hard. He can throw pretty powerful knees and then stop it, like right at the last minute, just where he's tapping me.
Yeah.
Or elbows too. Never make like full contact with your elbows, because especially in a fight camp, because I don't want to get cut.
Yeah.
Whatever. Accidents happen too. No one want to pull your punches and stuff like that. We're not going 100%. And it is hard in a real fight when they are throwing them 100%. You have to start posting on the knees, using your legs.
Yeah.
Hopefully beat up his legs enough to where like he doesn't want to start throwing them at you. Jared always teaches something when we're throwing knees on a shot. Always aim for the face, and he uses me as a great example. Like I'll take a shot to the solar plexus and lose my breath in order to take you down.
Yeah.
So always aim for the head. That's a good goal.
Makes sense. Nobody wants to eat a shot to the face with a knee.
Exactly. If that guy would have hit me with the same power in my chest on my face, who knows what would have happened? That was a pretty powerful shot. I could have gone out.
Yeah.
So, but when I'm down on the double leg, a couple inches makes a difference.
And Jared teaches on Mondays and Fridays, you said?
Mondays and Fridays, yep.
I kept wanting to come to one of his classes, but every one I showed up to, it wasn't him teaching. So I was just coming to the wrong ones, I think.
Yeah, he works a weird work schedule too. So like all next week, Aaron Bowman is teaching Monday and Friday. So it just depends on his work schedule.
Gotcha.
Usually it's Mondays, Fridays he's there.
Okay. I've been wanting to come to one of his classes because, like, I did the Taekwondo, quit doing that, started doing a lot of Muay Thai. I did that for like 2-3 years over at Tama.
Yep.
That was another fun place. And I kind of like dabbled in jiu-jitsu, and then as I got older and lazier, I just dipped right into jiu-jitsu because it's easier.
I think it's super fun too. I used to hate jiu-jitsu, and I was just doing it as like a necessary evil. I used to hate it so much. I'm like, oh, what are we doing? Like, we're just rolling around the ground. And like, the more I did it, the more and like the better training environments you get, the more fun it is, and like more competition. Ruben's a huge wrestler, like style jiu-jitsu gym, and man, sometimes I feel like it's up there with wrestling. I can't get enough of it.
It's so much fun. And it seems like it's always evolving. There's always more stuff to learn. As soon as you think you know enough, you run into somebody who teaches you that you don't know anything.
Yep.
And then you just got to reset and reevaluate and get right back into it. It's nice.
Absolutely.
It's so much fun.
It's ever-changing.
And then you see something crazy on Instagram, and you're like, I'm going to try that.
Right. That's how I feel it is a lot with wrestling too. There's like, I've heard this a lot. This year alone is like there's a new age of wrestling, and the more I kind of open my eyes, like, yeah, kids are wrestling differently. They're picking up different styles and they're doing different things that seem to work and they don't work. They work better than some of the old techniques they used to be taught, or like different funky, kids are getting a little bit more funky and not just so much like staying square and hard-headed. Yeah, I mean, it's ever changing. You have to be able to kind of adapt.
Have you taken any moves from like the Dagestani people?
Oh yeah. Especially like in my MMA and like wall work and stuff like that. I mean, I've watched a lot of like Khabib, Hamzat, Marab, even of like controlling the legs and keeping people down. And Ruben, something that kind of clicked for me was just using my folk style wrestling, where you're not allowed to lock your hands, so you just chop the arm. Well, if they're against the cage, they want to push up, get against the wall, chop the arm, and like hold it. That's high school wrestling. And he's like, just do that. And I was like, oh, yeah, that works. So, I didn't think about that. I thought about locking my hands, and like, now that I can lock my hands, I thought about just holding them, but then you can use his arms. And yeah, I try to take bits and pieces, especially from, Russians or Dagestanis and stuff like that, because it's a different style and it works really well, 2-3 years Dagestan. I wish I could go.
That'd be cool.
That'd be so cool.
Go there, wrestle a bear.
Oh, yeah, wrestle a bear. I've always wanted to go to Thailand, too, like, just...
That'd be some intense.
Do a month there. That'd be sweet.
I don't know how I started getting these Instagram videos where people will just go there and do some Muay Thai, and they'll just be walking around. They're all bandaged up for the rest of their vacation, and people will just like take videos of them and put them on Instagram. So many people. Like
in a bar or no? Because I've seen videos where like random people can just sign up and they have fights in a bar.
I think they do that too.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to the guy who owns Tama. he was telling me, because he's actually Thai and he's from there. He was saying like they'll have full contact like to the death matches when these kids are like 8 or 9 years old. It's like from that age they're just going, and they'll have just tons of like 30 something fights a year, and just everybody over there is on drugs when they go in there, and, and there's no hospital for miles. It's the Wild West.
Oh yeah, that's how it is. Like with the Russians and the Dagestanis and stuff, you know, they start very young, and I know a lot of times they don't even compete until they're like in middle school age. So like they've had all these years to get really good, and then they start competing once they are perfect, you know, and then they're killers. So.
And their safety standards are like non-existent. They'll be doing that on like a hard concrete floor and stuff.
Yep.
And
then it works. They're tough.
You seen their basketball games? Oh my God, you got to look up Dagestani basketball.
I will.
It's basically just wrestling, but there is a basketball.
Who cares about traveling? Who cares about?
Oh no, they're just running around with it, and then for some reason it became a thing where people will like rip off their shirt and then they'll go and just suplex somebody.
That's funny.
And that happens all the time.
Is it they? Maybe I have seen it. Like they take off their shirt when they go to attack someone. Yeah, okay. I have seen that. Ah, that's funny.
I think what happened is somebody went over there with the basketball and was like, "This is how basketball works," and then they left, and then they were like, "This is boring. Let's make up our own rules."
At wrestling, yeah. At wrestling, that's what we do already.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean I can't suplex the guy with the ball? This is bullshit. I don't want to play.
That's so funny. Yeah, I would like to, I don't know, take a trip or something, or you know, we have a lot of either like a Turkish community or Russian communities that come in and like train with us.
Yeah.
And learning, back to what we were talking about earlier, just picking out little things from other styles and whatnot. It's huge help.
Oh yeah, yeah. See some stuff you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Just like a little variation of something.
The details matter.
Like I steal a lot of my stuff from people on Instagram.
Oh yeah, me too. I hit it on high schoolers all the time. Yeah, it's great. They're like, "What was that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I saw it today. I thought I tried."
It's wild when you find one that just like, oh, this is going into the arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I found one. I've never stopped using it. I don't use it all the time because it's like I want to learn other stuff. But it's from seatbelt on the back. Mm-hmm. You just like throw your leg over top of their head. You keep the seatbelt grip the whole time, and then you just cross your feet, pull, and it's just a submission.
Sounds like it sucks. Yeah. Well, especially with your length too. Like, you use it so well.
I try.
So well, yeah. Like, and I feel like some people don't. Like Bagel uses his size pretty well.
Yeah.
But there are some lengthy guys, or even short and stocky guys, like don't take advantage of what they got. You know, and I feel like you take advantage of it for sure.
Oh yeah, it's my own. I kind of think of myself as a one-trick pony because like as soon as the flexibility goes, like I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But till then,
gotta keep stretching.
Yeah,
definitely.
Do you have a favorite move?
For what? I don't know. I guess for jiu-jitsu, I like the Kimura series. I'm very much because like I like pass guard, but it's mostly like pressure. I'm really very close. I don't love doing a lot of outside passing. So like rolling Kimuras and stuff like that from the T position, the trap position, I can do some damage there. I feel like I think that's my favorite like series. I can, you know, if they go sit up, I can roll on my head and pretty good at pivoting right there. Yeah, Kimuras. I think Kimuras are probably my go-to.
You hit one in competition yet?
Yes. Yeah, I think I've hit a few. Yeah, I remember at the Kumite event, I did a rolling Kimura. Rolling Kimura, he set up. I had him on his side. When I went to go put it behind his back, he kind of rolled through, switched to an armbar, and that's the whole series played out exactly how I wanted it to. You know, exactly what I was training pretty much every day because I love that series.
Hell yeah.
I'm getting a lot more into front headlocks lately.
I like front headlocks.
Along with my wrestling, it's like, use it. You know, I know how to use front headlock. Let's try to get some chokes off of it.
Yeah. And there's so many from there. Which is cool. And then you can transition. If one doesn't work, maybe you can do a anaconda or something.
A lot of transitions. What I hate is the MMA gloves. Because anyone who's tucking their chin, like, it's so hard to get anything in there. You're going to have to go for, like, an arm in or something. Because, like, slipping your hand through is just tough.
Is it possible to, like, push up on the nose and lift their head up?
Yeah.
It's just, like, one extra step.
They're going to be fighting it. And like I said, the gloves are so thick. Now, if you do get it in, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot more room to press up against the neck, which is a plus. But I've been noticing that's the trickiest thing, I think, with front headlocks and front chokes with gloves. Gloves changes the game. I mean, it's awkward. Trying to get your arm on arm bars and stuff like that. But then on the other hand, like if I'm stuck in an armbar, I can throw punches at this dude to make him open up. So
Yeah. Yeah. Strike to pass,
exactly.
pass to strike.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I've always liked that style. Like I do go up to Vision once in a while whenever I don't have anything going on Wednesdays, because usually I do. So I don't get up there very often, but that's a fun place. And that's one of the things I like that they do when they do spar. You can actually like go to the ground and do stuff, but that's just, it's a good way to train, because it's, if you get too used to jiu-jitsu and you forget people can punch you in the face, it's a whole new thing when you're in a position where you're usually like safe. That was kind of one of the reasons I really started liking the rubber guard, was because you pin their whole upper body down. I mean, the worst they could do is hit you in the ribs, but elbows on the top of their head if you really wanted to.
I've been doing that to Bagel, especially because he's so compact. If I can get my guard up high and like bring him down, it's pretty good defense against Bagel. Danny was saying something about that the other day. You know, he's I wouldn't say pretty new fighter. He's been training for a long time, and man, he's gotten better. You know, he's had 2 fights, and we were talking the other day. He said, you know, my wrestling is really good, my jiu-jitsu is pretty good, but when I get the gloves on and it's an MMA situation, it's different.
Yeah,
it is very different. You know, you're allowed to punch, and then things loosen up. With the wall, it makes a huge difference. There's guys that like Danny. I struggle taking him down in the open, but against the wall, it's a little different, like holding him down and stuff like that. You know, and that's just my knowledge of trying. You know, I know how to pin someone against the wall, and it's different. I've learned the difference, but it's a different sport. It really is.
You know? I want to get into some of the wall stuff. I never thought about just like asking Ruben if I could go over and train with the MMA guys. I just kind of assumed that was for the people who are actually going for competitions.
You and I did for a little bit. You remember when?
That's right. You were going up against. He was like what, 6'4", 155 or something.
135.
135.
Yeah. 6'4", 135, and we're like, oh, do we have the guy for you? I'm like, all right, cool. And you're probably a lot stronger and obviously a lot heavier. But if I can try to manage you, then I can hopefully manage him. You know.
I think you would have hurt that dude.
Yeah, my goal was just to kick his little bird legs. You know, at 135, 6'4".
I want to see this dude. Like,
I'll show you a picture later.
He's got to look like a skeleton.
Yeah. I don't think muscle would have been a problem there, but like.
And you know he's hitting you with bones.
Yeah, true.
I bet you those elbows hurt like hell.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But that's another one that got canceled. So.
Ever find out why he got canceled, or did he just back out?
Was that like this time last year, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think because it was supposed to be in Iowa, I think Iowa got a really bad snowstorm, so the whole event got canceled.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't back out. So.
Okay.
And then, so that was supposed to be my like last amateur fight.
Yeah.
Was my 6th amateur fight, and then, you know, after a while of just nothing, we're like, all right, let's go pro, whatever. 4-5 win streak. Now I'm on a 5. I think it's time. I've been training long enough.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's go pro. Make some money. Get my name out there.
Hell yeah.
Especially with my rap sheet of people canceling, you know.
Yeah. How many like pro fights do you have to do before you start making real money, or does it kind of depend?
It kind of depends. I know LFA will pay more, and you can get into there with 2 or 3 fights. You know, UFC level is a little different. In order to join the Contender Series, I think it's 3 undefeated fights or something like that. Yeah, it just depends on promotion. Even low-level UFC guys aren't making killer money. Shoot, there was a picture of, like, Marab after getting his belt in a construction uniform going to work. You know, he just won a world championship. So money's there, but I think it's a lot of – no one's a Conor McGregor. You know, that's one in a lifetime. Everyone else has to really work hard and, like, promote themselves, which that's what I'm awful at doing. My Instagram is awful. I try, but I don't care about a lot of that too. You know, I don't think about the social media. When you know we do pre-fight interviews and stuff like that, they're like, "Oh, like what are you gonna do to this guy?" I'm like, "Win, man. I don't know. Like I'm gonna take him down probably." You know, I remember one time I said, "Like, oh, what are you gonna do to secure the win?" I said, "I'm gonna do whatever I want," and they're like, "Oh, what? You're gonna do whatever you want?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do whatever I want to him," and they like loved that, and that felt weird to say, you know. I don't care about that. I think I might just pay someone to like control my Instagram and like post pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I feel it. I hate doing the ads and stuff. That was why I was so happy to come here, because they had all this. It's way easier just to talk, and then we can have a conversation, and we can chop it up, and we can milk this for a month, and we got Instagram content.
Yep, super cool.
Yeah.
Which there's I know Molly and Nikki, Ruben's sister-in-law, they've both been making like more content for the gym.
Yeah.
And Molly made me a super cool video.
Yeah, they do some good stuff.
Oh yeah. So, and I think I have a photo shoot with Nikki tomorrow with like jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff like that, which is perfect for before fight. But shoot, even if I can talk to them, hey, come in for something like that. Come in for a couple sessions, like send me a gallery of pictures, and I'll just post one every now and then. And Bagel's pretty good at promoting himself. Anything he does, takes a picture, posts it, puts some music on it, puts a cool catch line, and like, there we go. Reels do really well. Stories do really well.
I'm finding that out. I didn't know what the hell a reel was.
Right. Yeah.
Someone finally explained it to me. I was like, okay,
Yep.
gotta do that now.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll get like, I think my most liked thing is like, I think it's like 14,000 views and it's got like 200 likes. I'm like, man, what? Why can't you guys like it? Come on.
Was it something like random almost?
Yeah, I think it was just like one of those highlight videos or something, but it wasn't anything crazy. Like me holding a belt has like 500 likes and 500 views and like 100 likes. But then like something random, like just me sparring, like gets all these views and a little bit more likes. But I don't know. I don't know how to deal with any of that.
It's weird what takes off. But it's necessary nowadays. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody wants to pay to watch a fight, which sucks.
Yep.
Even if you're just out there dominating people.
Well, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, I don't care about the knockouts and like the cool submissions and stuff like that, but that's what catches traction, So, do I want to go out there just aiming for the head all the time? Probably not, because that can open me up to some flaws and get myself knocked out or lose a fight or whatever. So, it's like, what do I want to do? Be super entertaining and like go for knockouts all the time, be this exciting guy during a fight, or just win?
Yeah.
I just want to win. I just want to fight people and win.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the way to do it. I mean, sooner or later, the record like stands for itself. But
Right.
Then you might run into a problem with more and more people watching your videos and being like, oh shit, this guy's actually really fucking good.
Right.
I'm going to back out. I don't want another loss.
Yeah.
I think you're going to run into that.
We had a guy before this one. It was for a fight in January. I think we got told about it in December, November. And fight was secured, weight night contract, and then Ruben texted me, said they found an easier opponent, so they were done. And I was like, man, I took a screenshot of that, sent it to my buddies, and like, oh, this guy is a coward, and yeah. So that's happened. I didn't think anyone would actually vocalize it, but I mean, sometimes that's people's prerogative, especially going pro. Like, there's a game to it, It's basically like the most amount of money you can make for the easiest fight. Yeah. That's the smart thing to do. Make money, get your publicity, take an easy opponent. But at some point, like, I just started telling Ruben, say, yes, I'll fight anyone. I don't care.
Nice.
Because I got to get a fight. I told him we're talking about going down to 125. So that's going to be a cut because I walk around at like 150. And then I thought about taking a fight at 45 just to get fights because I've had one in 2025.
Do you cut it mainly just like water weight?
A lot of it's water weight, yeah. I thought I knew what I was doing for the longest time. And then I got a dietitian, and that made my life so much easier, like leading up to the fight and whatnot, and then rehydrating and refeeding. A lot of it's water weight, though. I drink a decent amount of water leading up, and I cut it out the night before. So, like, a lot of people don't drink or, like, eat for a couple days, and I'm eating the night before, and I'm drinking the night before. And then usually during the night, maybe I'll get up and, like, sauna in the morning or something, but that's not hard on my body. I'm not going for a 30-minute run, hour run, Whatever's easy on my body during those couple days up until the fight. But it falls off. That's another reason we were talking about 25, because, like, cut to 35 is not bad at all. 25 would suck, I think. But, for my size, I'm like 5'5", 5'6", and I walk around at 150. Like, that, people are cutting that, and the past couple of guys that I've fought, thankfully, they've been bigger. I'll admit that. They look bigger than me, but they haven't felt stronger. Yeah. And that might be because of the weight cut. But I'm probably going to get the dudes cutting from 160, 170. Look at Paddy Pimblett cutting down to 155 from 200. There's going to be some bigger dudes.
Yeah.
And I think once I want to do a practice cut, either for jiu-jitsu tournament, wrestling tournament, something. I don't want to risk it on a fight. So I want to do some kind of practice cut and see how I feel.
That's smart.
Yeah. I know Bagel's trying to go down to 115.
What's he walk around at?
38 on his heavy days. 35, 36 maybe. I know overseas, he's been in talks with some people about like possibly fighting in Japan.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Super cool. He's been in some talks. And they have a 115-pound division, and like for him being 5 foot, you know, he might be some of the smaller 125s. I mean, he's a big,
gonna hurt
big
those
dude.
dudes.
Yeah, he's gonna be a big dude. But then going down to 125, like, or 115, he's gonna be a monster.
He's going to be picking those 115 dudes up and chucking them outside the ring.
Yep. I mean, yeah. Yeah, he's already strong for 125. He's got some muscle on him.
Yeah. He's hard to handle.
Yeah.
And he uses his size really well.
Yes.
Like, not
absolutely.
just for takedowns because of the low center of gravity, but like it's hard to grab him.
Yeah, when he's
good.
punching me, it's like going right through my guard, and I definitely have to move a lot more. He gets low, gets some good body shots on me. He's a decent striker. I think he's probably a better striker than I am. Yeah, he knows how to use it well, for sure.
Or you got some tricks. You hit me with, what was it, like was it a spinning side kick or just a regular side kick when we were doing our practice?
Probably a sidekick.
Not
Yeah,
many people can throw those.
yeah. I don't know where I picked that up. I know when I was training with, I guess shout out Zach Miller. He's come to Queen City a few times. His work is crazy, but I met him at a different gym where I learned all that kind of stuff, and then he came to Queen City, and we started kind of working on it more. But I've never no one actually really taught me that besides him. No Muay Thai coach or anything. I kind of just, when I started going to Queen City in other classes, they're like, oh, did you train somewhere before this? I'm like, no, I mean, a dude that knew how to do it, you know, kind of worked on it with me. And I think it was a couple of years ago, but I broke Jared's rib because he was rushing into me, and I did like I think a little spinning kick or like side kick or something like that. And I hit him in the rib, and it kind of broke his rib. So, but I've been liking those a lot, or like a hook kick or something.
Those are solid techniques. And like most Muay Thai places, I'm pretty sure only really do like teeps and roundhouses.
For sure.
Like that's it.
For sure. There's a couple guys that train. There's a guy, Tanner, training for a Muay Thai fight. And man, he's lengthy. His teeps are awesome. His legs are long, so they get right through me, even when I'm pressuring him. But yeah, I was hitting him with some of those side kicks, and we had a pretty good conversation about like how to do that, how to avoid that, stuff like that. So,
Yeah. It's good. It's good to bring in those tiny techniques from other styles.
yeah.
That people have just no idea. They haven't seen it before. They don't know what the counter is.
Yep.
That's how I catch people with my jiu-jitsu stuff.
Exactly.
They've
yeah.
never seen it and it works, and then it never works again. Like, whatever.
That's kind of how I feel like I am, especially with like I said, like Kimura series I really like. It's like, okay, now everyone knows I'm going to try to go for that. So now I have to, or my Darce, that's probably what I go for the most because it's right there and I pressure pass a lot. So when people post, I shoot through and Darce them up. And I feel like I've always been told I have longer arms for like a guy my size. So Darces and stuff like that work a lot, but everyone knows it's coming. So I really have to start switching it up. I pulled guard on someone the other day. They lost their mind. Yeah. They didn't expect that.
There was it wasn't Chewy, it was somebody else. Somebody else who does a lot of wrestling on Instagram. He was just pulling guard for fun. He was just doing that. I think in tournaments, he was just pulling guard on people.
I do a cheeky, when I don't actually pull guard, but I like drop down on my butt to make him react, and then I'll kind of blast double, you know, and just to get him to, I don't know, because no one thinks I'm going to pull guard. So if I kind of hop down like I'm looking like it, they kind of lose focus, and I can spring back up and double like them. But
It's clever.
yeah, I've been with the playing more leg locks and stuff like that. I've been trying to pull more guard, or even get to him from like a wrestling position, single leg drop down to Ashi or something or X. Kind of work from there. I'm still not comfortable like dropping back for a heel hook or something. Like, if it's there, I'll take it, but I don't know. I like my wrestling style. I'll kind of keep with it.
Yeah.
Do legs if I have to.
I need to get in there and work on my takedowns. I know I need to. It's also hard being tall. I'm sure there's some takedowns that work better when you're tall, but I don't know any of those.
Yeah, we'll work on it. You teach me more leg stuff.
Hell
We'll
yeah.
go over takedowns for tall guys for sure.
I'm down.
Definitely.
How do people find you?
Zachary_Westlund on Instagram. That's pretty much all I use. Facebook, Zach Westlund. So
Nice. And fights coming up this
February
month,
21st. Yep.
February
It's coming
21st.
up quick. So I have I'll post a link in my bio, and then there's every other day I've been posting on my story. There's a link, promo code ZWest for tickets at pay-per-view. So
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming out, man.
sir, appreciate you. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.